Hello everyone. In today's lecture, I'll take you through the best way to assign variable in C++. So the main topic is going to be assignment, but in today's lecture, I will show you the best way you can use or have this kind of interaction with variables. So here is this assignment introduces students to the fundamental concept of variable declaration, initializations, and basic operation in C++. Students will explore different data types such as integer, floats, double, characters, and boolean. So the assignment provides a solid foundation for understanding how they initialize variable in C++, laying the groundwork for more advanced programming topics. By the end of this topic, students should gain a deeper understanding of how to manage and operate on data within a C++ program. So in this particular lecture, students will gain a deeper knowledge or understanding of how to manage and operate of data within a C++ programs. So let's go into this. Let's go deep and more. So here we have int, which is integer here. So we have the declaration of we declared and initialized the value of 60 to this particular variable here. So we use the curly brace initialization here, which is a very good section, or which is a very good part of initialization that you should do. There are three types of initialization. We have functional, we have assignment, and we have curly brace. But we are trying to talk about how assignment really works. So now we have curly brace initialization, and we actually have assigned the value of 56 to this particular variable here, which is var1, and using the data type of integer. So here we print the data out, and we have the value of what? We're gonna have the value of 56 here. And when we have in this particular position here, we have what we call assign. It's like assignment operate, like assignment initialization. But in this particular section here, we will understand how we can reduce our variable. We still have this variable here. We have variable 1, and the variable 1 here is used again in this particular side here. But we actually assign the value of 100 to it. It's not 56. So when we initialize this value 56 here and into this particular variable here, and it is known, or the value stored here is 56. So if we print this particular value, if we print this particular variable to the console by actually having this state here, so what the value that's going to be stored here is what we call 56. And when we go to the next program here, we have actually changed, or we have manipulated the data in this particular side here by actually doing assign the new value in this method here, assigning new value to it by this method here. So we assign the value of 100, and when we print the value again, it's going to be 100 because we have actually assigned another value to it. So we use the variable. No, we didn't declare another variable. It doesn't really cause us to declare any another variable again. So we are trying to reuse just one variable. We are managing our data. So by using another variable again and assigning another value to it. So that is what's going to happen here. And the same thing actually goes to double also. So double has the value of 56 and 51.11. So, and it stores in double, and we know that anything we can actually store is what we call floating point number, which is, it could be floating point numbers. That's fractional number. Like you should understand that you can actually store fractional number in this particular variable here. So we actually have 55 and 0.11. So we declared and initialized the value inside this variable here. And if we print it out here, it's going to show 51.11 like we have known. And yeah, the same thing happens here, that we can actually assign another value. Assign another type of value, or another value to the same variable we have been using. So this variable here and this variable here, they have the same type. This one here and this one, they have the same type. So we actually use the variable and assign the value of 401.10 to it. And if you print it out to the console to check what value is there, to confirm to yourself, you can actually see the value of 410 here. So it's kind of easy. And let's go to the next slide and try to understand more about that. So here we have boolean. So boolean here actually states, like, we have the data types of boolean, and we have the variable which is state, and in this particular side here we have the value of true. So this value is going to be true. We declared and we initialize the value of true to this particular state, so it's going to be true. And in this section here, I know you should be confused about this one, but this is what we call this is a function which is it's used to convert the value that's supposed to, if we print this stuff like this, if this thing is not here, like this is not here, and we print this particular stuff, it's going to give us 1. That is our booleans. So one booleans gives 1 and zeros. If it is true, it gives 1s, and if it is false, it gives zeros. But because we have this this particular function here, it's going to make our value here true. It's going to make our value here false. It won't really use 1 and 0. It will use true and false, because we actually convert, or we change, or we manipulate booleans variable from 0 and 1 to true and false. So that is what is going to shows up here. So when we have this std, boolean, and alpha, so if we should do std cout, and we actually have this state here, and this one here is going to be true, because the value we have stored in this particular style is true. And here we assign another variable to it, assign another value to it, which is false. So false is going to be stored in state, which we have used there. So we are trying to reuse it by actually assigning another value to, another type of value to it. And here it's going to give us what? False, because false, it is stored here. So that is one way you can actually reuse your variable. And it's not necessarily, since you are already using a types in your programs, there is a kind of way that you're going to get to very complex part that you will need to, you need like a lot of variable. So there are some situation like this that you are kind of use a kind of function, a lines of functions that comprises for you not to go out of the programs or go out of your logic. You can just use just one variable and reuse your variable. You can just use a variable. So if you are not trying to go out the logic that you are trying to communicate with in your code, so you don't need to we declared another variable like we have here, and I said like we are still talking about a thing. We are still we are still on a specific topic here, because we are trying to say this is true and state is false. So instead of me saying state 1 and state 2 and start declaring another variable again, start declare another variable again in order to have this, in order to avoid this state here, in order to avoid what to say, we have this is a very data type of its own. This is a very state of its own which has declared and initialized. So this is one, and the value is being printed out here. Good. And we have another variable here. So in order to avoid such a thing, this is use a lot of memory, so it can consume your memory, because you declaring this again, it's added to the size of your code. So in using, or maybe you are trying to just try to reduce or use less of your memory. So in order to do that, you can just use just one variable and to do all that. And if it will get confusive to you guys, like maybe you are trying to use a function, a specific variable in the functions, you can actually use this in this particular state, and you're going to understand that. But if you are using it out of the functions, so you can get confused. So maybe you can use another variable type. But if you are using specific stuff in a function like this, so you know that you are still working in between within a function, so you can actually use your variable. So I hope you get that. And there's nothing that is bad about this initialize. There's something that is bad about this assignment. So now we have we have talked about auto. So auto actually deduced our variable. The reason why it deduces is because it doesn't really know, or no, sorry, it deduces it deduces because of the value we have in our types. Sorry, it's deduced because of the value we have in our types. So don't let me confuse you guys. So auto actually is used to deduce the types. It used to deduce our variable in regards of the value we have in our. It is mean initialized it to our variable. Fine, when we declare auto, the value that is not here is not known to us. Like if the code or if the compiler gets to this particular location, this here is not as auto. So what the compilers understand is I don't know what value should be here until this stuff is being declared. So now after the value is being after the auto is being used, then variable is used also, which is the variable, and we have the curly brace initialization. And when we have this part there, we actually give it u. And what does u means here? This suffix here, it's very easy. You guys should understand what that means though. So it's actually unsigned, so it's positive value. So what value can be stored here is it will be positive, because if we print the size what types of variable or what types of data type we have here is going to be unsigned, because we actually use sorry, it's going to be positive value because we actually use, and u actually means unsigned integer. So an unsigned integer actually means like positive number. You can't use negative number. And yeah, because of the auto we have here, we are good, we are safe. So, and when we go to this particular side here, we print it, so we are still safe. But when we get there, something is going on, and we actually give it negative number. Because of the auto we actually give here, so we don't know specify what value should be here. But when we use variable 2 here and we have minus 45, something will be wrong, because we didn't really use the value that's supposed to be inside of this way. Yeah, it's supposed to be actually positive number, but we put negative number here, and something is going to go wrong with our variable here. Something terrible is going to go wrong with our variable here, because we have actually do something really crazy, something that is not supposed to be done. And that's the end of this particular section here. So let's go to our Visual Studio in order to work on what we have learned. So let's try and work on something. So I'm gonna go open my command prompt here. So on the notes, I can actually open my my stuff directly, because I can open it. I want to have access to CLL, that's Microsoft's compiler. I can do any of these too. Like, I mean that I can sorry. So this is I mean that I can use this stuff specifically without not using command prompt. I can just use it and drag it directly to my Visual Studio. I can just open my Visual Studio here and drag it there, and it's normal. But I won't have access to MSCV compiler. Like from the start there, you guys should know that we have been using both the three compilers, which is GCC and Cloud, and MSCV, which is the Microsoft compiler. So if I should use this particularly, and if I don't use this particularly, I just go in this one, I won't have access to MSCV compiler. So that's the reason why I'm just trying to use this one, and we can try and ignore it if it's kind of slow for us. So we can just open Microsoft Visual Studio, or we can just open Visual Studio Code directly, and when we open Microsoft Visual, something is wrong here. So we're gonna open, let's just close this one there. I have some code, and I'm trying some code. So now this is a very good one. So now this is what I'll just do here. Very easy. I'll just try and copy what is here, paste, copy what is here. Okay, so I'm going to paste it inside of this assignment, and we are going to use it here. So I can actually drag this code and drop it there, fine, but I won't have access to MSCV compiler. That's just what the reason. So it's not really necessary, but if you need it, that you have to, you need your MSCV, you can just use the command prompt, which is the developers mode. Like, you can just use the command prompt of the developers mode, and you have access to your MSCV compiler. But I don't really need, or I don't really think it's necessary for me to use that, because I don't really need it. I'm not getting to very complex programs yet. So now let's just try and use just this normal way, and let's drag here. So we can actually drag it here, and it won't give us problem as well. So let's just close this, but we will have access to just MSCV compiler. So now let's try and work on what we have learned in this lecture here. And here we have I want to go back to this stuff here. So we're gonna cancel or close page what is actually here, and actually paste, copy and paste what we have in our, okay, so let me see, this stuff is not correct. um, this curly brace here is not actually correct. It's supposed to be in this format. It's supposed to be in this format as well. So we can actually do something like this in variable, and here we also have to do the same thing. So here we are going to notice that we are going to have different value in both these two things here if we should try and comply this particular codes. So we're going to see that the code written here will be the code being printed out here is going to be 56, and here is going to be 100. Why? Because I have tried and initialize another variable here. So let me try and zoom this in order for you to see it very well. So now clearly I mean or boldly. So I'm gonna use GCC so to get my result, and don't forget, in order to, why this is running, don't forget everything we have in our programs here, code here, everything we have here, they are all zeros and one. They are all zeros and one in memory. So this, sorry, they are all in zeros and ones. Everything we have here, they are all in zeros and one in your computers, because your computers only understand zeros and one, which is the binary, format. So this combination of zeros and one that give you the actual code, or the combination of these here that give us what we actually have in this specific slide here, which is zeros and one, which is the binary, and we have understand this enough to talk less about this and for now. So now let's close this back and go back to our program here, and let's wait until generate our binary for us, and we're going to see what we have there. So in where it's running again, let's go back to our and copy what we have in our next lecture, and so the next slide here. So here we're gonna have I'm gonna have this for car and double. Sorry for this coming and so yeah, still running. So while it's running, let's just try and paste this, and I don't know, maybe it can show it because compiler might not have get it, because compiler is still reading it. I'll try and interrupt compliers. I don't know if I have interrupt compliers anyway. So you know that if I actually basic code, why the compliers haven't read these lines of, or haven't really get to the end of line of code. I mean this return 0. It can read this line and it will generate, and it will also read this line for you, and it will generate compile error, because my stuff here is not really declared well. So let's try and wait for this, and let's try and divide this on the screen here. So this touch here, and can actually use SP and stuff like this. So while this is running, also the same thing is going to be binary for us, so it will stop now, and yeah, I'm good. So successful. So it will generate this stuff successful for us. That means your code is good enough to be used, and it's good enough to be used, stuff like that. So now let's try and see what is being complied in our code, in our source code, I mean. So let me try and divide this. It's kind of looking unorganized. So our terminal is still wasting our times, while even the compiler also waste our times, and both of them are working to only press us. Sorry, is that even correct? Anyway, let's try and hold on for this. And patient is coming impatient and stuff like that. So we type the names of our exe file in order to have access to our results. So it's not going to be like I actually mean. So dot slash 0. So this is what we are trying to make here. Code lab here and enter. Yeah, good. So in our first variable here we have the value of 56, and which we have seen here 56, and the next one here we have 100, and we actually see it printed here. So that is the excess of using, or that is one good advantages or the benefit of using managing the memories of your programs here. So you can actually use it in this way, that you can reduce your variable. I can use this more than twice. I can use this like 10. I can, as long as I want. I can use this as long as I want. I can use it again. I can use it again. The program won't complain. So you can use it as long as you want. So that is just one of the advantages of using, or advantages of assignment. I mean, so to be able to assign another value to your variable. So that's very good advantages of that. And let's try and let me clear the screen here. So yeah, I'm going to run the code in order to get the floating point variables and floating point values, I mean. And let's back to this side here where this is running. Okay, so let's go to the next one, which is this is poly alpha. So we're going to it's gonna be this is okay. So next one. Okay, good. The line I actually used here, which is being printed here, sorry, it's here. So that's the line that is showing up here, and we have the floating point, and we have 55.1, which is the value we give it in this particular section here. So yeah, on the other side here we have float point, and we have 410, and that is the same thing that is here. So that is one way you can actually reuse your variable by assigning new value to it, using your assignment initialization. So by assigning new value to it. So I hope you understand how assignments work, and I mean the use of variables with assignments, so how they are working to achieve your goal in a very effective way and efficient way that doesn't really have to use excess of your memory. So now let's try and paste the one we copied, which is the boolean. So we can actually divide the string by copying this section here, and we can paste it here in order to divide the string for us. And here we have true poly alpha here. So it's like I said to you guys, I'm going to do the two way for it in order for you to understand what this poly alpha means. So it's actually the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to clear it off. So I'm going to clear it off at first, and so I'm going to clear this stuff off. Like I'm going to comment this stuff out, like this particular I'm going to comment it out, and if I should run this specific code, it's going to give us ones and zeros. So the first one here is going to be state, it's going to be 1, and here it's going to be 2. But if you use this specific function here, which is xtdc out on xtd poly alpha here, it's going to convert this particular value here to 1 and to true, and here to false. So now let's try and hold on for a while, and let's see what is going to happen here. Okay, good. Sorry for the times, and we're gonna just try and clear the screen and rerun the code again. So let's try and lab. So yeah, good. We have, like I said, this is very good. We are good enough to understand what this means. And now we have the state. We have 1, which is true, and we have 0, which is false. So whenever you use boolean values, which is true here, whenever you print them, so it returns like we have thought about booleans before in our previous lecture, and if you don't understand that, you can try and watch your video and try and understand what boolean is. So boolean actually returns true values and false, which takes just single value. It returns, it actually takes just one value, which is true or false. So it's either we store true or false in a variable. So now we actually have the state of true, which is 1, and we have false, which is 0. So false is false is the other side here, which is 0, and false and true means 1. So now let's try and comment this out, and let's see what's going to happen there. And we're trying to rerun the code again. Sorry, I'm coming. Okay, so what you're going to do, you can, in order for it not to use mouse, you can try to use Control Shift B. When you use Control Shift B, it's pop up this specific stuff, and you click on enter. So, or you navigate to your direction key or your arrow key in order to use the compiler. What types of compiler or which specific compiler you want to use. So you can use your direction key to navigate through that, or you just click on enter if you are in the specific compiler. And if this runs again, there we're gonna okay, good, successful. And let's just click enter, and you can just clear the screen here and just use code lab. So yeah, good. So we have true and we have false here. The value we had before was not true and false. It was 1 and it was 0, but now we are having true and false. Yeah, because this particular function here, it states that it converts the value of 1 here to true, and the value of 0 here to false. So that is the function of boolean. So that is all of the function of boolean we have in boolean. So it's just to convert the the state which is supposed to be 1 to true, and the state is supposed to be 0 to false. So I hope you guys understand how initialize specifically work, which we have used in this specific one here. So we have state and we initialize the value of false to it. Before it was true, now it is false. So I hope you guys understand how that specific work. And next one we're going to do is that auto. We're going to understand auto, how we can make. Oh, we also have character here. I nearly forget this. Okay, let's try and divide the strings, and again, in order to divide that, let's try and paste what we have there, and then we copy what we have in here in order to divide the strings. So here we have a single value here being stored in a character. We can actually store more than a single value. We can actually have C, and we cannot have T and F. It's going to be error. So just a single value can store there. Just a single, like a single character, can actually store in there. You can't store more than a single character. If you store multiple characters there, it shows error. So that is just the functions, or that is the rules guiding character. But the excess of us using this stuff here is because we want to see how it's been. Or the normal way is just for us to understand that the ways we use our the way we use the character and the variable again by doing assignment here, by assigning this value to it. So to make this thing less, let's try and make this easier for us. So I'll try and do both the auto and character together. So in order to make this thing really faster for us. So now here we have we have the comment here, like careful about auto assignment. And now let's try and edit what we have here, which is full of error. And let's try and adjust the side also. So now this is good. So here we have the value of 120, which is positive value, and that's by using auto to deduce the types of variable, the types of value that should be stored here. So our value is not known to us until our initializer has been initiated. So with that, with the help of being initiated or being initialized, and we have the result, or we have the specific value that should be stored there, or we have the names of the variable that we have here, or the names of the types of variable that we use there. So then we can actually say, oh, now this variable here is unsigned and it means positive value, and here is, well, here we actually use the value here, so it dictates what should be our data type here with the help of auto. So that is just what deduction means. And here we actually print that on the screen, and we have do something really crazy here, and we do the we actually store the negative value in this variable here, because we use the value of, we use auto. Yeah, that's one of the disadvantages of auto. You don't use auto for such things, to to just do something really crazy like this. It's really bad. So you don't make use of auto in this way. Try and understand how this works then. If you use a positive value here, and because you are trying to we use or we assign the value, don't use opposite of the value, or don't use something else entirely. This is actually error. So now let's try and do run the binary code of this, and let's check our result. So now let's try and hold on for a while, and after this, so we're gonna see how this thing is being worked, especially this one I have here, this auto use, and now it's been generated our stuff. So let's try and clear this print and dot slash. Okay, good. And sorry, you have something wrong here. Variable 2. Did we use variable 2 before? Something is wrong here. Something is really wrong. Character is having false. Something is wrong. Let me check my code. Okay, fine. I have character which is P. Okay. I've mixed everything up. How come I mixed it up like this? I didn't really notice that anyway. So here's supposed to be character. Here's supposed to be states. I don't know how things mixed up like this. Maybe there was just typographical error there. So make sure you notice or try and check through your code. Sometimes I don't really want to check through it, because to make things really snappy, then we will figure out how to solve the issue or how to solve the bug. So here it's just we initialize the value of this one there. So I didn't really go through this code definitely. That's the reason why I didn't really notice that. So that's what happens here, that we use character and everything just mixed up together. So now let's try and run this stuff again, and let's check what's been stored there. And I hope you guys will understand what we mean, and because I saw something right now which is kind of error, which I want you guys to notice that, and we're gonna see that right now. So let's just wait and try and see this. Okay, good. And we have built and finished successfully, and good. So now we're gonna do and you're gonna bring out the terminal, and you can actually bring out the terminal by using control and this specific sign here. I don't really know the name there. So this is just J. I'm coming. This particular sign here. This one here. Oh god, this is too much. I'm coming. Let me show you exactly what I used to bring up the terminal without not going to this specific, without not going to this, sorry, without not going to view and click on terminal. Without not doing this, so you can actually use, oh sorry, there was error there. It's not supposed to be down I pointed to. It's not this one actually, it is this. So this sign, this specific sign, so you use your control and this specific sign to bring out the terminal for you. So let's just clean this up, and let me zoom it out because this doesn't look good. And now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use it again, control and that specific sign, and we give us our terminal. So we can just run the code and see what is in our binary. and let's try and check it again. Okay, good. This is just what we want. So we have the state t here printed that, and we use the this specific variable by assigning the new value to, which is p, being printed out here. And we have this variable 2, which is the auto, and the auto have then 120. We use the positive number. This is unsigned, which is positive number, but after I reassign the value of -45, yeah, it is error. What the compiler is going to do, that it's going to store a chunks, like it's going to find a way to store a chunks value in it, like nonce to you guys. You know, if we should declare our variable and we should not assign anything to it, sometimes it's give us the value of 0. Sometimes it's compliers, I'm talking about the compiler. Sometimes the compliers give us the value of 0. Sometimes the compliers stores a chunks value to it, like this garbage stuff. It is really meaningless, so we don't really use this stuff. We don't need this. We didn't assign this to it. We didn't assign this whole number to it. We just assign this specific to it. So what the compiler do is that it stores garbage there, like it stores some chunks value in it that we don't really use, we don't really declare. So this is just trash because you don't need this. We don't need this specific value we have here. So that's what the compiler does here, which is error for us. So we shouldn't assign we shouldn't use auto for such a thing. So because of we are using auto, that's the reason why we are having series kind of error here. So let's try and do some kind of or let's say we are unsigned. So if we should have stuff like this, I expect this stuff to complain or give some errors or warning, because it should be warning. Definitely should be warning or stuff like that, because unsigned and it's really a specific state. Anyway, what you should try and understand, that this one we have here, it is signed which is negative and positive. So but we have here it is only positive, which is signed. And let's try and use our auto bar. So that is the excess of, or the advantages of using your assignment, like assigning your variable. You can actually assign this more than one. I can assign this variable, like I can assign this thing more than one. I can assign just 54 and I can print it again, and value of 2. Let me just put this just to notify it, or just to signify something. So then I'm going to do value of 2. So now you're going to see that something is going to be different. If you should run this whole code again, you're going to see that something is different. What's going to be different is that the value that is stored, is going to be 45. So we have actually stored the value of 42 here, because we have actually we used it. We have stored the value of 42 here because we have tried and we used the okay, good. So because you have tried and we used it, but something is still wrong. Yeah, something is wrong. What is wrong is that the value that can be stored here, because we have actually manipulated what we have here, so the value can be stored here can still be integer, because the last variable we are using, because this is what the compiler does here. Compiler understand that here we actually stored positive value, we print it out, and here we store negative value and we use it here, but it stores chunks here because we are not supposed to do that. But when we go to this next line there, what value can we actually use here? What the compiler sees the value is that you are trying to use signed value, but it's really you're trying to use the value of positive and negative value, but it's going to store. Yeah, you're trying to use the positive and negative value. That's what the compilers understand, that what you are trying to use here. But because we don't have access to it from the start of we don't have access to it. It won't give us from the start of our declaration, because we declared only just auto, and auto the first look at this first value we have there to dictate what value should be stored in others. You can't actually store integer here and use double here. It's not making sense. It does not even make sense. Compiler won't allow you for that. So let's just run and let's see what is being stored here. Yeah, good. We have the value of 43 and we have the value of 45. Okay, let's see that's still good because it's still value positive number. Let's try and use negative number again, just the way we use negative number. Let's just the way we did before. Sorry about that, and sorry about this this, because of it's running on the ground. So check, maybe I'm trying to, or error is like virus is penetrating. Actually it's not a virus, it's just the terminal. And so now I'm going to store negative value to it in order to see what the compiler sees our variable. Compiler sees our variable as positive. So whenever we declared let me end this line so everything will not jump in the same line. So compilers understand our variable as positive, which is unsigned. So whenever we use all this specific stuff, I guess there should be sorry about this. So I guess there should be error there for us. So let's try Control Alt B. Sorry, Control Shift B. I mean Control Shift B, not Control Alt B. Control Shift B. I mean capital. I mean B. Letter B on your keyboard. Control Shift and B on the keyboard. So let's see what's gonna be here. And I did terrible error. I did not even. Oh god, that's error. So I'm gonna run it again because I didn't really check my code properly before I print it out. So I'm gonna run it again and check or make some adjustment on it. So let's wait for a while and let's check through. So what I expect is that the compiler should see our value as unsigned, because that's the first value we assigned to it. So that is the first value we assigned to the variable. So let's try and check. But before I do that, let me clear the screen. And you see again it stores another jumps value there. So another jumps value, another jumps value. What the compiler sees our variable is that it sees it as unsigned, which is positive number. So we can't store negative number there. So make sure you avoid this using of auto for such a thing. So it can really cause a very big bugs to your program. So thank you very much. That's all I have to take, or that's all we have to talk about today. So thank you very much. Bye bye. So now we can just stop.